WWE Night of Champions. A night where we watch some of the greatest superstars clash for gold. We have the defenders, we have the challengers, we have those that reign victorious, and some who fall to defeat, and new champions rise. And this weekend is Night of Champions, and we only have 2 champions defending their titles. What's going on here? What's going on, everybody? This is LoboberryCrunch. I am back with another little hot take. Let's talk about Night of Champions. Now, the current state of Night of Champions, as it stands, we have 2 big matches that involve titles, 2 matches that are not for titles or title opportunities, and 2 matches that are for the King and Queen of the Ring. Now, moving the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring matches aside, I could understand like those obviously wanting to be on there, because I guess maybe because it's a title opportunity or a crowned role that the person wins, you know, being the King or the Queen of the Ring. Why do we only have 2 championship titles being defended on Night of Champions? Kind of an issue here going on where half of these titles have not been utilized. So you know what? Let's talk about it. Let's start right now with Raw. Right now, the current reigning WWE Heavyweight Champion is Gunther. Now, say what you want about him as a character or him as a superstar. I will give Gunther his flowers, where he obviously is a very dominant force when it comes to being a champion. I was not thrilled with his last run as World Heavyweight Champion, but you know, we could see where things could go. Obviously, maybe there's a reason that Jey Uso lost this belt to him. There's a reason why Gunther is currently champion. It's because Goldberg wants to face him for the title in his final match at Saturday Main Event. That's just what it is. There's no other rhyme or reason for this. It's literally that. And it just feels like it kind of like makes it feel weird. You know, this title has had some interesting go-arounds right now. Personally, to me, I feel like it's kind of fallen to the wayside. You know, when Jey Uso had it, I mean, it was such a monumental moment. You know, it was great to see, you know, Jey finally finish his story at WrestleMania. And we had that nice little moment where, like, when him and Cody were teaming together in that tag match against John Cena and Logan Paul, where we kind of saw that Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes had like kind of swapped roles, because, you know, around that time last year, Cody Rhodes was you would say the top babyface, the top superstar. He was the champion. He was the guy that everyone was like gunning for and always wanting to be around. And then we saw Jey Uso. He's now the top babyface, top merch seller, top superstar that everyone loves to go. You can't tell me you go anywhere and you don't see somebody ready to yeet. Don't try to tell me that. Don't try to tell me that. I was literally walking down Philly, you know, coming from a convention center, and literally someone shouted out 4 letters, 1 word, and then all you heard from across every street was the yeet. So, fact of the matter is, you know, don't try to tell me that people didn't love Jey Uso as champion. This man is more over than anything else. Could he have been booked a little better? Absolutely. I do think that he could have been booked a little better. But fact of the matter is, the only reason that Gunther has this belt was to literally give him the title so that way he could face Goldberg and Goldberg could face him for it, which obviously we're more than sure that obviously Gunther will reign victorious on that, and we'll see where it goes from there. Personally, it's just weird to see that, you know, we did this as a whole, and obviously the World Heavyweight Champion is not defending his title, you know, at Night of Champions. They're saving that for Saturday night's main event. Why? I don't know. Money, advertisements, who knows? But it is what it is. All right, let's move on to our Women's World Champion, Io Sky. Now, first, before anybody says anything, I love Io Sky. She's amazing. She's a great talent. She was the underdog. Everybody was doing the with her. Don't try to say you weren't. If you do, you're lying. You love this lady. She is a phenomenal star. She knows how to put it out there in the ring. She was the underdog going into Mania, which is interesting because she was the champion and she was the underdog at Mania. Still came out defeating, both of her opponents, retaining her title on the grandest stage of them all. And where did she go from there? I have no idea. We have hardly seen any type of actual in-ring moments with Io Sky since she won that belt. Well, not won that belt, but retained that belt since Mania. So why aren't we booking our women's world champion? Clearly people love her. Clearly people want to see her, perform. Why is our women's world champion being left off the card for Night of Champions? It just feels like such a weird waste. And she's already had this very dry spout of matches since around Mania. We've seen her come out on TV segments. We've seen her come out and say that, she's still out there and she's still the champion, backstage segments with her. But why is our women's world champion not being utilized more? It kind of feels sad to say that, she's kind of been pushed to the wayside a little bit. And, with such a great run ahead of her, why are we doing this? Now, granted, we are possibly setting something up where maybe Asuka is probably going to become the queen of the ring, and maybe then we'll set up a match with Io and Asuka, and honestly, I won't lie to you, I will be extremely excited to see, these two go at it. But up until then, I need to see Io get put out in something. Give her a match, please. Let us see her gorgeous face grace us on Raw, because this is one of the reasons why Raw is tanking. We have champions that are not being utilized. We have stars that need to be shown. Give us more Io. All right, let's move along to the tag titles. Now, say what you want about the New Day, but I love them. I loved the heel turn. I loved it. That was such a good moment. That heel turn was insane. And it just feels like we still aren't getting the potential out of it. These guys won those World Tag Team Champions at Mania, and yes, it was in a sneaky little devilish way, but that's the New Day. They're here to take what they want. They're here to show up, take what they need, and tell you that they are done with you and we are out. I love the new looks. Xavier Woods looks phenomenal. I am a fan of Xavier Woods. I have been since his days of yelling "It's morphin' time" and doing the honor roll. Back in his NXT days and all the way up to the main roster. I have loved Xavier Woods, and I am a subscriber to Austin Creed on Up, Down, Down. And I love Kofi Kingston from when he had his accent to when he got exposed to not being Jamaican, which is interesting, which is funny as hell. That's how he lost it. Look back on those videos, it's funny as hell. But since the formation of the New Day, we've always had such great reigns with these guys. They've had great battles with the likes of the Usos and such like that. Tag teams have come along and fallen to them multiple times. So why haven't our tag champions done anything recently? With the exception of the random matches between the Creeds and the Raiders, what is happening? What is happening to our tag championships? I feel like this is something that we've discussed a couple times on not only just our podcasts, but maybe I've said it on some of the Raw and Smackdown reviews. But it just feels like, the Smackdown tag team division is red hot right now. Raw's is so lacking. And it's not that they don't have the talent, it's they're not booking them. And again, why are these champions being left off the main card or any card for Night of Champions? Come on, the name Night of Champions. We should have almost all of our champions defending it. We should have at least one tag team championship match, but we've got nothing. Now, the following Raw after Night of Champions, we do have a match with the Judgment Day versus the New Day, but why are we waiting so long to get these guys going? It just feels like it's such a waste. Come on, guys. Don't waste these heels. Let's move on to our mid-card champion. Now, actually, this is the only champion that I have to give some real credit to. We love our Dirty Dom here. We love Dirty Dom. Dominic Mysterio has definitely shown that it is his time to be champion. Now, granted, apparently he's being left off the card for an injury. I think I saw somewhere online that it may be a rib injury, but, you know, it is a legitimate injury, and I will give him credit for that obviously he can't defend his title properly with that injury. So probably taking some time to heal up, and he'll be back out there. But he's probably been the only champion that's been consistently featured on Raw. Obviously, not only just because he's been in the Judgment Day, but he's had a couple of successful matches. You know, he's defended his title against Penta. He's defended his title against, is it Octagon Jr.? Octagon? Is that him? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was him. But the fact of the matter is that this man has actually had some defenses, and he's actually been involved in certain things. But I also feel like I feel like we need a little more with it. I do feel like we need a little more, but at least at the end of the day, I will say of all the champions right now, Dirty Dom is the only one that's been featured pretty consistently. You know, he's been out there. We've been seeing his face out there, you know, and it's really great for him. Honestly, I'm happy for him. He calls himself the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. I don't know, Dom, you haven't won me there yet. You've reeled me in for a lot of other stuff, though, and I will give you that. I mean, you're out here stealing women left and right. I mean, you know, we started with Rhea Ripley, and then, you know, now you got your Liv Morgan, and now you might be looking at Miss Roxanne Perez. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, the man's got his titles. But if anything, he's probably one of the most successfully booked champions that we have right now. Now, it still sucks to see that he is not being booked at Night of Champions, you know, but also understandable because of the injury. So I'm going to give Dom a pass on this one. He gets a pass. Next thing let's talk about is the women's tag team champions, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Now, unfortunately, this is not really on them either, but it feels like the women's tag titles have just consistently suffered this like never-ending curse of just like being able to be utilized in the right way. You know, we've had women tag teams, you know, we've had female-led branded tag teams, and it just feels like we have not utilized them in the right way. It's really weird. Like, I don't understand what's going on or where we're going with it, but it definitely feels like these ladies have not been utilized in the right way. Now, it's not to say that the current champions are not great. I love Liv. I think Raquel is also amazing, and I think they make a great tag team. The problem is where's their competition? Where is their competition? Where is the people that are stepping up that want those belts? Now, granted, right now, Liv Morgan is out on injury. You know, unfortunately, we wish her well. You know, it so sucks that she got hurt. But at the end of the day, still, it didn't look like there were any plans for any women's tag team matches coming up for those belts. You know, it looked like they were kind of setting up, obviously, Liv to kind of challenge for the women's world title again. And it just feels like those tag belts are just kind of sitting there doing nothing. You know, it really sucks. Now, granted, we did see maybe some teasing that Roxanne Perez is kind of won over, you know, Raquel. And maybe there could be some slight slide-ins of her taking Liv's spot as the women's tag champion. So that kind of helps keep the tag team champions with Judgment Day. But at the same time, I still feel like we need to do something with these belts. I mean, this could have been a cool opportunity also to put those belts on the line at Night of Champions. Maybe you could have given Raquel a situation where she has to defend the belt. If she doesn't defend the belt or find a way to get another partner, that she will be stripped of the title. And then you have Roxanne Perez kind of slide herself in there, and boom, you got them together and you got the belts being on the card. But at the end of the day, it's just weird because, again, it's another tag team championship that's not being defended at a PLE. And it's really, really weird. I don't get this. So, you know, let's see what we can do with this, guys. I mean, obviously that Roxanne Perez idea that I just threw out there might be something coming up in the coming weeks, but it still feels weird that Night of Champions, again, we're not seeing any tag titles being defended. All right, let's switch gears here. Let's talk about Smackdown. Smackdown's titles are as follows, obviously. We have the WWE Champion, John Cena. We've got Jacob Fatu as our United States Champion. We've got the lovely Tiffany Stratton as our Women's WWE Champion. We have the current Tag Champions as the Street Profits. Now, notice I've also not mentioned the mid-card titles for the women's titles. I'm going to get to those in a little bit. I wanted to save those at a separate thing, but let's talk about these titles first. So John Cena right now is the only, I would say top champion of his brand that's defending his title at Night of Champions. Now, granted, it makes sense because obviously with Cena's retirement tour and obviously him being the WWE Undisputed Champion, he should be defending his belt. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a great battle between him and CM Punk. I'm excited for this. I love the promos. I love the pipe bomb callbacks and everything like that. I loved it. The fact that he name dropped 3 superstars that that ironically enough he had issues with supposedly backstage. There's so many stories, nothing confirmed, obviously, that I can say for sure. But obviously with Matt Cardona, the wrestler formerly known as Cesaro, and Nick Nemeth, also known as Dolph Ziggler. It's just really interesting that he actually name dropped all 3 of them in that promo. That was really, really funny. But fact of the matter is, we are still getting our WWE Undisputed Champion defending his title, and I'm okay with that. I'm very satisfied with that, and I'm also really looking forward to seeing CM Punk and him put on a great show. Now, do I think he's losing this belt? Unfortunately not. I don't, as much as I love CM Punk too, I am a huge CM Punk mark. You guys all know that. I'm not going to deny it. And the fact that he's also right behind me, hanging on my wall, kind of proves that. But I don't see him losing this belt. And at least he is defending his title. I will say that despite the critics online, I think that his title run has actually been really fun. I love the heel variation of him. I also like the fact that we're starting to see the cracks in him. That seems like he's slowly wanting to go back to being a face, because you obviously know it's killing him to not be able to be the good guy right now. But we'll see. Maybe we'll see face Cena show up. As far as right now, him and CM Punk are going to put on a banger. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about our women's WWE champion, Tiffany Stratton. Now, I am not going to bash Tiffany in any way because I think she's an amazing talent. Thanks to my partner on this show, Mr. T, his wife is a huge Tiffany Stratton fan, and she won me over through her. So Tiffany, you won me over because of his wife. You know, she made me one of the Tiffy Time lovers, and honestly, she deserves it. She's a great talent. She knows how to market herself very, very well. The Barbie doll look, obviously with the bodybuilder physique, she looks fantastic in the ring. She does crazy things. She does so good. You know, I was all on her side completely for the feud with Charlotte, and then she won and retained her title at WrestleMania. So where did she go from there? Well, not really much of anything else. We have not seen the belt defended in quite some time. We have not seen her being featured in any matches for quite some time. Now, coming up on the current episode of Smackdown prior to Night of Champions, we do see her defending the belt on there. But then this still begs the question of why is this belt not being defended on Night of Champions? We have 2 non-title matches at Night of Champions. Now, these could be fill-in matches, obviously, for, whatever's going on, obviously, with, certain superstars. Like, obviously, Dom's not defending his title, obviously, because of injury. So it makes sense that the Sammy and Cross match is kind of filling in there. But then it doesn't make sense because it's kind of like, well, why didn't we fill that in with another title match? I understand Triple H's booking right now is the idea that, the major big PLEs are the ones that are going to have the multiple matches, the bigger matches out there. But, he tries to condense it down. I don't mind the 6-match card. I actually kind of enjoy it because it makes me enjoy the matches that I'm watching, and it makes the superstars look better. It also allows everyone to kind of, again, get rested up and kind of get ready for their stuff coming up. But I still don't agree with the fact is that a non-title match is taking place. Why is our women's champion not doing anything at Night of Champions? Why is she only defending it on SmackDown? Now, you can make the argument of like, oh, well, she's still defending it on SmackDown, so it should still count. No, I don't agree with that because it's called Night of Champions. It's called Night of Champions, which means that the champions should be present on the show. Anybody that does not have a title should not be featured on a card that specifically advertises champions. And no disrespect to the superstars that are on the card. It's not their fault. This is booking. And this is where I'm going to have to criticize them on it. I don't agree with the fact that our WWE Women's Champion is not being featured at that PLE. They should be. And once again, it just feels like she hasn't really done much except kind of sit back and just wait to find out who her Money in the Bank stalker is going to be. And it sucks because Tiffany's such a great talent. So hopefully we'll see something come from this. You know, we'll see what happens after SmackDown and Night of Champions. You know, obviously a lot can happen, but we'll see. All right, let's move on to our mid-card champion. The my favorite right now, my favorite champion, the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu. My man has been all gas and no brakes. My man has told us multiple times, you get in where you fit in, and this man has fit in to that title very, very well. After winning that title at WrestleMania, it's obvious, very, very obvious, that Jacob Fatu was just born to be a champion. I mean, the pedigree from being part of the family that he is in obviously also helps a lot, but that man does not need his family name in order to sell himself. The promos he cuts, the moves that he can do, the energy he brings to the arenas. He is just a one-man wrecking crew, whether he's a face or a heel, and everybody loves him. Personally, he's probably one of the best booked champions right now currently. Now, unfortunately, it has come at the expense of superstars like LA Knight, who we do want to see LA Knight as a champion at some point. I want to see him as a top champion. I don't want to give him another mid-card title. I want to see at some point LA Knight with either the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship around his waist. That man is long due for that belt. But I will give Fatu, he's got a lot going on right now. Obviously, with this match set up with Solo now, officially going into Night of Champions. He's the second champion defending his title at that PLE, which again says a lot because it's like, you know, we have the WWE champion and our United States champion both on those cards. Obviously, great matches are going to come up no matter what. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see like Hikuleo probably finally make his debut. Freaking please, because he's been signed to this company for forever. But again, I don't know. We shall see. I'm sure that this will go well, but it just still sucks that you know, we are seeing other superstars not featured. But I am happy to see that the United States Championship is being defended at the PLE. So good luck to you, Jacob Fatu. All right, let's go on to our tag champions. These guys are killing it, so why are we not doing anything with them? The tag division, and I'm gonna, before I get to the champions, the tag division in SmackDown is red hot. It has been red hot for months. You got the Motor City Machine Guns, you got the Street Profits, you got, you know, DIY, you know, these guys are all going nuts. It's crazy, you know, Pretty Deadly, you know, now we got the Wyatts being involved. Their tag division is hot, and it's great because it makes those belts feel like they're so coveted. People want those belts. The champions are consistently having to look out and be careful because obviously another team is ready to come after them, you know, especially with, you know, we got new tag teams coming up from NXT, but why are our tag champions not being featured on PLEs? Now, you can make the argument that maybe they want to at least give us like some titles on the main shows to be able to watch and be defended. You know, that fine, we can go with that argument here. That's fine. I don't believe it. I think it's crap that these guys have not been featured, you know, at a PLE in a while. Like it's crazy. Like these belts were left off of the WrestleMania card. You know, the Street Profits 100% should have been on that card. Now, granted, they had a phenomenal ladder match where they defended those belts, and it was amazing. That match was brutal, and it was great. I loved it. But, again, you got somebody like Montez Ford, who clearly is absolutely a talent among all talents. And then you got Angelo Dawkins, a man that defies gravity in many senses for a man of his size, which I absolutely adore. These two should be on the cards. They need to be on a PLE. It's really ridiculous and disgusting that these guys have not gotten that recognition. Yes, they steal the show every time they show up, but I need them actually on a PLE. So come on, WWE, get these guys on there. All right, so we went through the you know, the main roster champions other than the women's mid-card champions. That's the United States champion and the Intercontinental champion. Now, why have I left these guys out? Why are these ladies only being talked about right now? That's because they actually been featured. Their matches and their defenses have actually been featured recently more than the other ones. So, for example, the Intercontinental Championship with Becky Lynch right now. Obviously, we talked about it before that Lyra, you know, she's been defending the belt. They haven't been booking her in a way that honestly has been like great as a champion, and that's not her fault. That's their fault for not advertising her and really giving her more rivalries. But she was defending her Intercontinental Championship on Raw multiple times. She was featured multiple times. And, you know, obviously her and Becky won the tag titles at Mania, so they were obviously featured on the card there. And then right after that, we saw Lyra and her break up, and Lyra and her are starting a feud. We saw Becky and her have multiple matches, you know, and with the last one culminating to Becky Lynch winning the Intercontinental Championship for the first time in her career, being the second woman to hold this title. And it's honestly, like, say what you want about the booking, but at the end of the day, this title has been defended. This title has been defended multiple times, and the champion of that title has been featured on the shows multiple times. So, and I'm going to give them credit on that. I'm going to give them credit, but I'm not going to give them credit on the fact is, again, these are titles that are not going to be at Night of Champions. These are titles, again, that are not going to be featured, and I don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense. You know, you got a talent like Becky Lynch, and you're going to leave her off the main show? You're going to leave her off of the PLE? Like, tell me why. You know, Backstreet Boys, tell me why. Just, I don't get it. She should be there. She should be there defending that title. She should be there getting ready to face off. Because right now, with her, Bayley, and Lyra, this is a great triple threat situation. This is a good one. And I'm really excited to see where this goes. Lastly, we're going to talk about Zelina Vega, our United States Women's Champion. Now, I'm going to be completely biased here. I love Zelina. She's great. She's awesome. As much as to the dismay of my partner on this channel, he is not too thrilled to see Chelsea Green had lost that belt. I was over the moon because I've been saying it for a long time that Zelina Vega has been a very, very undercut superstar. She needed to be used, and they've been using her. She's been great. She's been featured. She's been defending that belt. She's been fighting other people that are bigger than her, people that you would think that she wouldn't have a chance against. She has been doing phenomenal. I love the scrappy nature of her. I love the fact that she, you know, comes out with all these glamorous outfits and everything like that. She is phenomenal, and she's a great champion. I'm gonna say it. She is a great champion. I appreciate her. She makes that belt feel like it belongs on her shoulders, and I'm so happy to see that. But again, she is not featured at Night of Champions. I don't understand. So you got somebody that is obviously doing their thing and, you know, is a phenomenal superstar. People love her. The fans like her. You see it. I love her. I love seeing her posts where she like basically like parades around with the belt. She deserves it. I'm not gonna say she doesn't deserve to parade that thing around. With as long as she's been featured off of the shows and only been featured as either like an escort or like an assistant, then she's finally like being able to have like actual matches. She's proven herself time and time again that she is a contender, and she not only proved herself to be a contender, but ended up getting that gold, getting what she deserves. So I'm very, very happy to see that she is the champion right now. I just hate to see that they're not featuring her. So, but these are the two belts, and I will say the reason I saved them for last is they're the belts that are featured the most. You know, they're the belts that we see a lot. Sure, you can say that you see John Cena come out multiple times, obviously with the belt on his shoulders, but at the end of the day, he's not wrestling. He's not wrestling on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown that often. We had our first match with Cena, you know, being the champion. What was it? When he faced off against R-Truth, that ended in a DQ. So, and again, say the same thing. The world champion, you know, yes, we had some like back and forth and stuff like that, but obviously, the end of the day, the world championship was basically meant to go back on Gunther's shoulders, which unfortunately put Jey Uso out on it. And it was a storyline that just felt like it got repeated and used way too much. I don't feel like we needed to do that. I also didn't feel like we needed to take that belt, put it on Gunther's shoulders just to give Goldberg a match with it. It sucks. Because especially because that belt is also going to be just featured at the Saturday Night Main Event, you know, the glorified house show. That's what I call it. It's the glorified house show. But it is what it is. So, Night of Champions as a whole right now, I think that it's going to be fine. I think that it's going to be an okay pay-per-view, PLE. But I think that the biggest issue is the fact that we are not being featured. I think that the PLE will be fine. I think that it'll do fine. I think that everyone's going to tune in still, watch it. I'm pretty sure we're going to enjoy the matches. It just sucks that 2 of the matches on that card are non-title matches. And don't get me wrong, I know one of them is Rhea versus Raquel. And, you know, it's obviously not, you know, it's not for any contendership or anything like that. It's just them fighting each other. This I felt like could have been done on a Monday Night Raw. You could have even did it the Smackdown, you know, prior to it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It just kind of feels like the brand split is not even really a fully thing again. You know, because people are just popping up left and right on the shows. But it just feels like we're losing the point of the PLE. We're losing it. You know, it's called Night of Champions, and it's only featuring 2 champions. Now, we'll see what happens with obviously the King and Queen of the Ring matches, but other than that, I mean, that's kind of my hot take on it. I feel like this PLE needs to have some reassessment with its name at least. They could have called this anything else other than Night of Champions. But it is what it is. I'm going to leave it there. So, I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click and like and share and do all the fun stuff. Help me grow this channel. Help me out. In order for me to grow, I need your guys' help. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you show it to your friends. Make sure you post it on whatever your socials you got. Let's get some balls rolling here so that we can do some more videos. Other than that, I have been LoboberryCrunch, and I will see you guys in the next one.